Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Channel Clay. I hope that you're doing well wherever you are in this crazy, crazy world. So, I was thinking a little bit more on this love triangle situation with Hailey Bieber, Justin Bieber, and Selena Gomez. And I'm like, what if we have it wrong? What if it's a lot deeper and more complex than Hailey simply being crazy and wanting to copy Selena Gomez because she wanted Justin to herself all this time? Maybe it has to do with the clip that I ended my last video with, where Justin is saying that, jokingly, I will say, but I really feel like it's truthful, but he's pretty much saying his marriage to Hailey is arranged, and he keeps referencing they. He doesn't say who they is, but he says, oh, they connected us, they thought it would be a good idea. So he's potentially hitting at a team of his, family of Hailey's, but apparently somebody is orchestrating this. Now, you've probably heard of Hillsong Church when it comes in connection to Justin Bieber. Around the time of when him and Hailey got engaged and married, he was visiting their church, and this church is highly controversial. It's one of those big mega churches with really wealthy people. Some cities, because they have them across the country, but some cities are invite only. And let me not say across the country. I know that there's one in LA, like in California, and there's one in New York. So again, where wealthy people live. So it is an invite-only exclusive mega church. And potentially, they could be the they that Justin is referencing because he was being heavily influenced by this church. And it's also known that Hailey Bieber has connection with Hillsong as well. Okay, so correcting my previous statement with Hillsong, they have a global presence, not just here in this country. Australia, Indonesia, Japan, also European countries, Canada, South Africa, Latin America. As I said, they have in LA, Orange County in California, they have Boston, New York, of course, so they're everywhere. But it's for the wealthier people, okay? So Justin Bieber being in this church and having someone who basically invites you in. When you're a big name, you're invited in by a pastor, and they're kind of like your mentor. So it says here that he was brought in by Carl Lentz, and he was a lead pastor of Hillsong, New York. He was being referred to as a second father by Bieber. So that tells you just how close Justin was to this pastor that was a part of this church, okay? And who was mentoring and or guiding him, probably at a hard time of his life after just leaving Selena, and we know how much he loved her. Then 2 months later, he ends up being engaged to Hailey, and then months later after that, he ends up married. So very fast movement, and I just feel like a father role, okay? A second father role is what they're saying right here, allegedly, would advise your son or mentee, hey, maybe we're moving too fast. Maybe let's pump the brakes. You just got out of a lengthy relationship that was very intense. Maybe give yourself some time to heal. But no, what he advises, allegedly, potentially, is that Justin goes and gets married to Hailey Bieber and, well, engaged and then married in 2 months' time. That's insane. What type of advisor gives a young man that type of advice if you don't have a motive for yourself? And I think that the motive was getting Justin indoctrinated into this church, getting him married to Hailey, and being able to control him in ways of which they wanted. Similar, I'm getting like kind of Scientology Tom Cruise vibes, where Tom Cruise is like the face of Scientology, and maybe they were trying to make Justin Bieber like the face of Hillsong and using him as this puppet in a way, and having Hailey, his handler, be there and be able to control because she's already been indoctrinated in and knows the deal. Potentially, I'm gonna have a little bit of grace for Hailey because there is There is a possibility, because she started this young, that she's a victim in this as well. And potentially in this arranged marriage, she's been used as a pawn to be his handler. And now that he's figured it all out, he has major fucking resentment against her. And that's why we see him treating her the way that he does in public. But sorry about that, but what I was going to say is, but probably the most important thing, the reason why Carl brought on Justin Bieber to Hillsong is because of tithes and offerings, okay? Typically, tithes and offerings is, I believe, 10% of your income. So you go to church weekly, like most people, you're tithing 10% of your income. A person like Justin Bieber or other wealthy people, them tithing 10% of their income, that is making a killing for these churches, which is why they are called mega churches. They probably got these big old screens and everything's extravagant. And at a certain point for me, honestly, I've never vibed with that. I started off at a real small family church, and then over time, I feel like it grew into one of those mega churches in Alexandria. But, and I just never really, like, why do we need massive screens and surround sound? Like, I heard you perfectly fine before, you know? But these churches, they get money and they keep wanting more and more. They want to start buying property, and I just feel like they start losing the plot. That was a tangent. Anyway, Hillsong, getting all of this money from Justin Bieber through tithes, you would want to make sure that your cash cow is able to continue to make money so that he can continue to tithe and offer. So you would bring in a handler, possibly allegedly Hailey Bieber, to watch that person to make sure that they're on the up and up and that everything is okay so that they can continue to produce, which is funneling money right into this church. And I'm sure these pastors are getting like their little kickbacks for bringing in wealthy people. They're getting bonuses on the sides and all this type of stuff. And it's crazy that with this church Hillsong, they have all types of scandals themselves. Even this Carl Lentz, who brought on Justin Bieber, who he referred to as a second father, apparently in 2020, he was fired by Hillsong Global, by Pastor Brian Houston, for leadership issues and breaches of trust, plus a recent revelation of moral failures. Now, however, that Brian Houston, the lead pastor, we're not done. So in 2020, Carl Lentz, who brought on Justin, is fired due to immoral revelations or whatever, poor leadership. Okay. 2 years after that, the same person who fired Carl, Brian Houston, who is the lead pastor and Hillsong's founder, resigns after internal investigation found he had breached the church's code of conduct by behaving inappropriately towards women. Okay, like, so all types of inappropriateness going on within this church, yet they're thinking that they can guide and mentor this young man, Justin Bieber, at like a crucial time of his life. No, I don't think so. Their minds were all on the money, not morality and, you know, trying to be a good person, because clearly they had been doing all types of ish in their life. How are you going to mentor somebody on doing well in their life when you're getting fired for immoral behavior? It's crazy. So I'm just feeling like maybe the they that Justin is referencing in that clip is a mixture of maybe his leadership with his pastor Carl Lentz, Hillsong Church, in combination with his management Scooter Braun. I know that there's some type of issue with him and Taylor Swift because he inappropriately handled her masters, yet Justin's masters in his catalog somehow got sold under Scooter's management. I wonder if Scooter got a kickback from that. But being in the music industry as a whole just seems so slimy, and like, who do you trust? You just have these leeches on you and everybody around you just wants something from you. And I could see that being as Justin Bieber. I mean, come on, he's looking around, he's like, who do I trust? Even the one I sleep next to at night potentially has been in a scheme just to get my money and control me this whole time. My management, Scooter Braun, yes, he, I guess, found him on YouTube, but over time, maybe he's been doing some shisty stuff. We know he did some shisty stuff with Taylor Swift and her masters. Who knows what happened with Justin? Like, it's a possibility. And so he, I feel like, is just trapped. Like, what does he do? He's in like this gilded cage, and I don't want to make it seem like, oh my god, poor Justin. At the end of the day, he is a grown man, and I do feel like if he wanted to get out of this and like say, hey, I want a divorce from Hailey, I really, actually love Selena, that could happen. But I feel like he's in a place where he's paralyzed, or he just doesn't know what to do. So I'm just gonna go back to the studio, I'm gonna go distract myself in the music and just stay there. And then Hailey is off in Paris doing her thing, and then the baby is somewhere in between. It's a mess. It is an absolute mess. And Hailey is a lot younger than Justin, I believe. I know Justin's like 31, 32, but I believe she's a little bit younger. And I saw her out in Paris. She was there was press and paparazzi out, and she was walking down the steps with this real he had to be a model, but he just was gorgeous. And quite honestly, Hailey and him together, they were a gorgeous couple. I'm like, who is this? I have to try to find this clip. But I'm like, oh, is Hailey out here trying to make Justin jealous? I don't feel like Justin's the type to get jealous. Like, if it's her, potentially with Selena, yeah, but I don't think she could make him jealous, just given everything that's been happening. Oh, and just another tidbit about Hillsong, and just proving that they were in no way really concerned about Justin's well-being and his spiritual health. I really just don't think that was the case. I think that this Carl Lentz was a glorified purse watcher and brought Justin in for his coin, and that is it. But apparently there's also allegations of an Australian whistleblower from the Australian branch sued Hillsong because allegedly they had moved millions of dollars overseas to avoid Australian charities and not-for-profit commissions, and made large cash gifts to Houston and his family using tax-free money. So when these churches get massive, the money is not going to what it's deemed to be going towards. You have all these people tithing their hard-earned money, wealthy or not, and you're doing what with it? Funneling it into your own pocket as gifts. And it's tax-free, like tax effing free, because these churches are not taxed. It's like a fucking free-for-all. So what I found interesting after that, after all of these allegations, there was also a Discovery documentary about the exposure of Hillsong. Justin and Hailey leave Hillsong, and they're at Church Chrome. Church Chrome, okay? It's like Church and Chrome together. It's a non-denominational church network, and it's led by a Judah Smith. And apparently they have a Beverly Hills location that Hailey and Justin go to. It's just like, what are these churches pop up Church Chrome? That sounds real. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I will say, in visiting Justin's IG, he does have the link to the church's app in his biography. I don't know how many of you have your church's link in your bio on IG, but Justin does. I don't know. I didn't realize how religious Justin was, that he was so influenced by Hillsong at one point, and now he has Church Chrome in his IG bio. And I'm wondering, hopefully, I could do some research. It's not just people that were from Hillsong and they just reverted into some new church and named it something else. But it is definitely a new leader's name, Judah Smith. I don't know why these churches start to sound like cults, and like they're like the cult leader. Oh my God, that's a whole nother thing. But even with cults, like, they indoctrinate you in, and like they isolate you, and then they like also take all of your money. I don't know. I just see some similarities there, and I potentially Justin and both Hailey are victims of these churches, these entities who just care about money. and they're seeing these two young people with the potential to make them even more money so that they can funnel into not charities, okay, but into tax-free gifts for their leaders and their pastors. It's crazy. Why is it that both two of your pastors, the lead one and the one that brought in Justin, have both been fired due to immoral behavior? Why does he have all these immoral people around him? He had Usher there, and then he introduced him to Diddy, who was just all types of immoral. Like, can we, the stuff that this poor boy has gone through, like, I just, so I have sympathy and empathy for his state right now. I feel like there's a lot going on that we don't know. We're all speculating, but sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, and when the real story comes out, we're going to be sitting there with our jaws agape. Because even now, with just what it looks like on the surface from the outside looking in, it's kind of crazy. But I'm just wishing Justin well. Hailey, I guess you don't say anything. You just let it blow over like it did last year and the year before. But don't like any more shit, okay? Just don't. Don't like a thing else, because Justin is not going to defend you. You're going to have to defend yourself, and people are out here calling you all types of crazy when in actuality it could be the fact that your father and this church groomed you from a young age and said, hey, this young boy is your target, and that's why we see her with this laser targeted focus in on Justin, like in all these concert and premiere videos where she has like this laser focus on Justin, because that was her goal. That's what she was indoctrinated in to do. That was her purpose, to get him, marry him, make sure that he was on the up and up and okay, and that's what she was brought up to do, and she succeeded in her goal. And now he's come to terms with what's happening, and he's like, oh no, fuck all y'all. And she's losing control. I don't know. It's all very strange, but I do think that there's a lot going on that we don't know. And for Hailey to be copying Selena the way that she has for so long, it's more than just, oh, I want to be like this girl because my man likes her. No, I think that there's some other ulterior motive behind this, for sure.